line. Check the radio, pit crew is far from slow. The lights no longer yellow. Ready, steady, go. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. 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 In love with the ride. Burning rubber smells real nice. Fuel it up once or twice. Come on, fast is the way to drive. Crowds all on their feet. Not one bothered by the heat. Imagine them in the driver's seat. Checkered flag would be sweet. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. 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 Everybody get ready. On your feet. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Crank it up. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. 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 Crank it up.
Hello again, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back here at P3 TV, now live here at Kansas City, Kansas, as we are now set to go for Jim Power Quinn's Fast and Fun Cup Series race here down in the Kansas State area. We're about to see what happens when you bring the next gens back onto the big 1.5 mile long track with some multi-grues and some multi-hard racing and some serious competitors to follow. Hi everyone, I am the Crusader, joined by my friend and colleague Cody McRae here today. And Cody, right now, currently, as we watch some drivers get a little bit beaten and bendered up here and just kind of ready for tonight's action, certainly, definitely a lot of hard racers here.
Yeah, I haven't been here in the last two races due to technicalities with the computer, but I'm ready to get back with watching this league racing and all that. It's always been fun watching it. We're here at Kansas, a lot of fast, open racing, so let's see how it goes tonight.
Fast open racing, fast quantities of drivers here, and a whole host of folks ready to build up the speed, build up the run as we take it down now and talk with some of those guys here. We'll start off with the 3Y Motorsports crew here as the number 2 is Zach Hinson now joins us on the line here. And Zach, as we see you go around up on that outside line there, where I got to believe that there's a lot of grip and a lot of speed, and a lot of drivers are aiming towards up there today, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just the bottom's too loose, honestly.
With the bottom being too loose, I mean, is that still kind of a narrow edge for some drivers to kind of make a speed run for, or do you think the outside's where most are just going to stay to the whole time?
Most likely just to the outside for the most part, or the middle.
For sure there. All right, well, nevertheless, here, Hinson, we do appreciate you coming on board here, sir. Best of luck down there.
All right, thank you.
Number 2 is Zach Hinson right now getting set to go for today's action here, set for the race round. We'll take it down now and talk with the number 31 as well, Brock Whitehead, now joining us on the call here. And Brock, as currently you get kind of dealing with the damage there you suffered off turn number 4, I've got a feeling that turn 4 is a little bit of a tricky little narrow edge for some of these guys, including yourself here.
Yeah, I haven't raced the next gen in a while. I haven't been open on Tuesdays, but I'm glad I'm able to race on Tuesdays again. And yeah, hopefully we can get this next gen settled down. And turn 4, yeah, the wall comes up pretty fast, so we're gonna have to watch out for that and just control the car.
Control the car here, and we're speaking of that here, this next gen Cup car versus all the other cars and trucks and vehicles you've had to run here at Kansas. How difficult would you say out of 1 to 10 this thing is?
Yeah, it snaps loose, so I'd probably say maybe it's 5 or 6, just depending on how loose your setup is. I'm real loose right now, so probably like a 7 or an 8 for me.
For sure there. Well, nevertheless, here a looser setup can tighten up over time. We'll see how well it plays out for you. Best of luck down there.
Yeah, thank you.
Rock Whitehead, ladies and gentlemen, there piloting it in, the number 31 here today, looking to try to get some speed going. McGray, I'll let you have a next pick on who we're picking in here today.
Let's talk in Greg Janzik since he's the first or the fastest practice leader right now.
All right, we'll go ahead and grab the We'll grab Janzik here in the number 40 here. Let's have a listen in with him. Here he is right now, ladies and gentlemen, in that GMG machine today. It's Greg Janzik here.
Good evening, buddy. What is new in the PTM land?
Well, McRae decided to bring you up on in here, and he wanted to have a little word with you.
Hell yeah, McCray. What do we got cooking tonight?
I was going to ask you, we talked to Henson just a little bit ago, and he's saying about the only line right now is the high line. As we see you had the fastest lap in practice, do you stick with the high line during the race, or are you going to try to go down to the bottom too?
Yo, I got to tell you, I would love to put like a little rope-a-dope on the field and say that we're not going to be on the fence the whole time. But we're going to be on the fence the whole time. The most recent aero update to the next gen car has made it so aero sensitive that the amount of speed that we're going to need to carry to be able to consider even thinking about making any passes, which are all going to be slide jobs, which should be really entertaining, is very high. So I do really appreciate the effort that Elite Performance Industries and Team Conti has put into this setup for us tonight. It's definitely fast. It's a little qualifying is super sketch. Race is a little sketch at the start and at the end of runs. So I think restarts will be really exciting, and if we do happen to get a long run, I think that'll be really exciting as well. But yeah, you can expect us on the fence for sure.
Yes, indeed.
You expect some drivers going around the track here and having to go on those starts here. What do you think maybe that's going to be kind of the most problematic situation here? Going 3 wide in from a corner or coming out of the corner here?
Well, that's a loaded question, because if you're going to go 3 wide on entry, you got to make sure that somebody's going to have to be low enough, and nobody's going to want to be low. So I don't know. I feel like the people on the low side might be giving it to 3 wide, which is the exact opposite of what we're used to rather. But 3 wide exit could be hairy because of how sensitive picking up the throttle is with these cars. So you can, I think you can expect both 3 wide situations to come out looking a little bit sketchy this week.
Yes, sir, there. Well, nevertheless, James, I do appreciate your time here, sir. We'll see what happens with you and your crew for Hole Sim Performance.
Hey, man, thanks for the time. I really appreciate it. And yeah, hopefully we could talk later in the race.
Sounds good. Thank you for your time. Ladies and gentlemen, Craig Janzik, number 40, having a little time to chat with us here. We'll take it down and talk with some of the Dump and Run boys here. One of them being in that number 9 machine today, Eli Childs here. And Eli, the 9, right now 14 fast out of the practice session here. Obviously, qualifying going to be a different story, but for you and your crew here, how much has been kind of settled here on the track, and how much do you think is going to be kind of settled for really what you deal with versus qualifying?
Chris, I'll be honest, man. I have no idea what I'm doing out here. We have 0 practice, so we're kind of learning on the fly here. So, yeah, it should be interesting. We might make it the whole race. We might make it 5 laps. I'm not really sure.
Yeah, definitely for sure there. Now, of course, they got that Champion Power Equipment number 9 scheme out on the track as well. Got a little bit of that silver chromed out steam there. What's going on with the paint scheme today?
Yeah, we brought Champion back on board tonight. Had a good finish last time we ran this car at Daytona. I think we got 2nd, I believe. So we thought maybe we'd come back and see if it could bring us some more good luck, and who knows, maybe get a win.
That certainly is a unique little piece of equipment, personal design on that end there. So let's see what happens as you bring it back to life here at Kansas.
Thanks, buddy.
Eli Childs, ladies and gentlemen, number 9, trying to get settled up down on the track. We'll go ahead and bring in another driver here, a bit of a fan favorite, as he's still searching for his first win out here. But it is the youngling, number 48. That is George Young. And Young, I thought you said we were telling you were a fan favorite, not a damage favorite.
Hey, just seeing how this thing handles if I get, I start spinning around. I got to test everything during practice here.
Well, I'll say certainly so much there.
No, man, I feel good, though. It's going to be a good race. I think the team's going to do well. I'm going to do well. looking forward to it.
For sure. There now, timing and strategy wise, I gotta ask you, really, what's the main thing you think it's gonna really be the best look for these drivers, the shorter versus that long run?
Well, I think you're going to look at the long run for sure. I think you're going to see a lot of guys really loose out here tonight. So I think you're really going to be seeing a lot of guys keying on that long run.
For sure there. Well, nevertheless, though, Young, as you get settled in here and ready for the action, best of luck to you, bud.
Thanks, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen, George Young here in the number 48 on the call and on the list. McRae, go ahead. You choose somebody, bud.
Go with Willie Man.
Wayman Jr. will be up next on the list here. We'll have a listen in with him. And the number 29, he now joins us here on the call and on the roster here. Ladies and gentlemen, the number 29, William Mann Jr.
Hey, how's it going?
Going pretty good. Well, we decided to bring you back in here and have a little chat or two. Of course, got some fans here watching you on.
Oh, yeah, appreciate you guys. Whew. Yeah, it's Kansas. I don't know if Toto's going to be able to help me out tonight, but we're going to try to play it smooth. We're going to sneak past some of these guys making mistakes and see what we can do.
Certainly there indeed. Now, with all the strategy and build up here, I'm going to ask you this real quick too. I mean, what does the car feel like here for you on the long run here so far?
Well, hopefully we can get some long runs in, and the car comes together smoother and smoother. And I don't know, man. It's kind of one of those things you got to play it by the seat of your pants. Because some nights we're going to dog it out and beat and bang fenders, and other nights we're going to be smooth and see what strategy comes to play. And I'm all about the strategy. I can sneak past some of those guys that kick our teeth in with raw speed. So I'm really interested in what tonight brings. I've had some interesting situations with Kansas, whether it was the NIS or the open sets. I'm just hoping to get some long runs in and see what this car got tonight, man.
Definitely there. McRae?
Yeah, we was talking earlier to some more drivers with the high line and the low line. You're running about the middle line right now. Is that where you're going to stick tonight?
Yeah, I feel like the low to the middle is where I'm comfortable at. I've tried to mimic guys on the high side, and I feel like that ain't my cup of tea. I've tried to match them, and I lost more time than I needed to. I found my line to be the low side, and merging up to the middle is where I can gain the most speed and kind of control my fall off. So that's where I'm gonna try to beat the guys at. And hopefully they can stay up there all they want to, and I'll just roll on by the middle and the bottom.
Timing,
Yes, sir, indeed.
timing and strategy is everything here, William Mann. We'll see if he can bring it home.
Sounds good, man.
Ladies and gentlemen, William Mann Jr. in the 29. The last time he was here in a cup car, by the way, came oh so close to taking home a title win here. But with a roster and a field as loaded as this one, I can say for surely he is ready to go, and he looks for it all. Well, I don't think if we didn't bring this guy in, we probably would get booed out of the building. So let's just get him in before he gets trapped and found in his little hidey hole down here.
I was about to get up, and then I heard the beat. You found my parking spot, huh?
Well, I mean, you look like a cop that is currently trying to live out your glory days of what you were doing in the Big 5-0 and the Moonshiners right across the league, and I honestly have no idea what the heck you were even up to.
Oh yeah, this is my hiding spot. I got a speed trap and trying to catch those moonshiners.
Catch the Moonshiners and whatever the heck is on your little thing you put there. What did you do with your usual
took a selfie.
face?
That's me before I shave. I don't know. I guess you're not a fan of awful bobcats, huh?
No, not saying that. I'm just trying to figure out like where the heck did the sunglasses and cat dog or whatever came from there. That's all I know.
Yeah, we found a bobcat and decided that it made a pretty good office pet. So it's stuffed. So I put some sunglasses on it and hangs out at my job. So.
Hangs out at your job, and well, in turn, I guess gives you quite the look. I'll say.
Keeps the productivity up.
Fair enough. I really don't know what to say. McRae, you got anything for him?
I think you covered it.
Well, I'll do my best to keep it off the wall here. It is a little loose on exit, so it's gonna be interesting.
For sure there. Thanks for your time, Thacker.
All right, man. Y'all take it easy.
Sometimes I can't even with him.
I thought you was talking about James Harris at first, talking about the 5-0 and stuff, and then I was like, no, I believe that's Thacker.
And then I'm about to say 5-0 is something in the Moonshiners right across the league. He drives the big 50 down there. Harris drives the big 55, but since you're so bold enough to bring up the Harris camp, I think maybe we'll bring him in real quick since he's kind of hiding out here as well. Harris, how you doing today, sir?
Good, man. How about yourself?
Yeah, we're doing all right here. Currently, just kind of watching on and preparing to see. Whoa, what the? Just preparing to see kind of what happens next. As currently, I think your Glitchcraft Gremlins down there are currently having troubles figuring out whether or not they wanted you to join the track or not join the track.
Yeah, my ping looks like it's jumping around everywhere for some reason. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, not really sure either, but nevertheless, though, if we can get that ping kind of cleared up and fixed up, I mean, what's going to be your biggest strategy here for you today?
Well, I think we got a pretty good setup. It's real stable. It doesn't get too loose on the long runs. So I think as long as we can keep it between the white line and the wall, not hit anything, I think we get a good finish tonight.
Get a good finish indeed here. Now you said hitting the wall up. Again, a lot of drivers constantly keep bringing this up. Staying off from the bottom and being more towards the top side is the car this loose and troublesome to actually deal with in that way?
Obviously the top line is the preferred lane, but you can run middle, and if you drive it right, you can even do the low line, but the low line is going to be pretty slow. But if everybody's around the top side, you got to find a way to pass, which is probably going to be diving down to the middle and doing a slide job on exit. That's going to be my strategy anyway, and we're just going to pace ourselves and hopefully get some long green flag runs and be there at the end.
Absolutely. Well, nevertheless, here, Harris, best of luck to you.
All right, man. Thanks. Looks like the ping is settled down.
It looks like it's settled down, so we'll leave it alone here, and hopefully that'll go from there.
Yeah, 10-4.
I don't know if he's actually going to get that down or not, but we'll see.
We shall see.
But great, we got a few more minutes. You choose who you want next, sir.
Let's do Boyd Hagen.
Is he even in the chat? No, he's not even in the chat here, bud.
Let's see. Let's try Sheldon Pearson.
Yeah, we can get him in here. Yep, let's go ahead. Team Dump and Run, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get back in. It's with the number 8, PM and Sons crew. That is Sheldon Pearson.
Boy, you came in right at a bad time.
Well, I mean, we did kind of watch you literally going off into the wall protection there a little bit. We didn't quite mean to be that rude, though, so our apologies there.
It's all good, man.
So, man, Sheldon Pearson, number 8, PM and Sons, back out on the track here and back with us here in the Kansas City, Kansas track here at Kansas Speedway. And really, I have to ask you, sir, I mean, what's going to be your biggest priority, you think, out of all the madness and the chaos here?
Just trying to keep the car in one piece is going to be a huge challenge. I think that's the main priority. It's trying to just keep the car in one piece.
Why might that be in this case? Is it just kind of designed to be a little bit more tricky, or is it? What are you feeling?
No, the car's set up and everything just real loose. So, top line's probably going to be the go-to line or the main line, and passing is going to be harder. You don't get runs like you used to in these cars, so all around passing is going to be tough.
That certainly will be indeed, but nevertheless, here, Pearson, anybody else you want to thank for the day?
Yep, just shout out to Champion Power Equipment for sponsoring everything, and you for broadcasting.
For sure there. All right, Sheldon, appreciate your time here, sir. Best of luck.
All right, thanks, man.
Sheldon Pearson, ladies and gentlemen, on the line, on the call. Let's take a listen in now to number 77. Brian Lorenzo now joins us on in, and Lorenzo, you know, we talk about these bigger tracks here, and you talk about these 1.5 miles, and you've kind of dwelled and really gotten pretty good at them. With a track like this, the way it sets up, does this kind of tune into your driving style?
Yeah, I love tracks like this because these tracks are more throttle control wise, as in it's a lot less throttle and it takes a lot more patience. And for me, I have a more patient driving style, and that's why I save tires and end up making a big run on the long run.
Make a big run on the long run, but now with that long run, of course, here, do you think some of these drivers may get a little eager too quickly, you think, maybe, and just forget that they have to watch the throttle, or what do you see?
I think there's definitely going to be a lot of that tonight. There's going to be a lot of guys that are going to try to run the top, and they're going to try to run it too early, and they're going to be hitting the wall, trying to push so hard, and it's definitely going to be interesting how tire work plays out, because if you end up burning your tires, Kansas is not a nice track for that, for tires, and yeah, you're going to fall pretty far back.
Certainly is indeed here. Well, nevertheless, though, we do appreciate coming on board here, Lorenzo. Best wishes and luck to you.
Thank you for the stream, man. You have a great day.
You too. Ladies and gentlemen, Brian Lorenzo, the number 77 driver. Trying to take it down now here. I think we'll go ahead and bring in Stephen Plus in that 69 here, McRae. He joins us in now, race fans here in the 69. Usually rocks some lemonade stand. Today he's bringing us the Fox scheme. It's the 69, Stephen Plus.
How's it going, man?
Going pretty good here, sir. So right now is currently dealing with some of the damage on that right side. I haven't asked this yet here. We've seen some drivers get into the wall already, but what we just want to ask real quick. We've heard and it's been told about the aerodynamic properties of this car and the way it runs around the track, but in your mind, your case, you just got some damage up on that car. How does the car feel after just taking a little hit from that shot already?
It pushes a little more. It's more or less just like a parachute. Like once you get on the straightaways, you just got nothing that gives it up. You get a little damage on there. They still drive mostly okay, but it's just like holding a parachute out the right side, you know? Crinkle up, get those seams unsealed.
Sure.
The car overall, they're a challenge, man. This is probably the hardest race I've ever ran. Just because it's so finite of a line. If you get in there just wrong, you wash up into the wall. Or if you miss it a little too low, you spin out. It's tough. It's a challenge tonight.
Definitely a challenge here indeed. McRae, any further comments you got for him here or questions?
Now, when we say people run the high side and low side, do you have your car set up for the short run or the long run?
It's gonna be a longer run. We start off a little tight, and then the car levels out. But come around on the back side of the run, if we can hang on to it, keep it out of the fence, and keep it pointed the right way, it comes in nice after about between lap 5 and 10, it comes in nice, and it holds that through the remainder of the run.
Sure there. Well, nevertheless, though, Stephen, as we get ready to get back to the action, the green flag is going to be coming down here in just a minute for the race as qualifying is about to start. Best of luck and wishes to you and the crew.
Thank you, buddy.
From Mobile Set Performance, ladies and gentlemen, 69, Stephen Plus. With that, we now have commenced to our qualifying section here today, race fans. We're set for qualifying action. Drivers now be forming a lone qualifying routine, lone qualifying lap. So it's just now a matter of time before we see these guys bring it out on the track here and put them on the show. Let's see who has the best run and who has the most momentum. Field of drivers today here. We have, it looks like a count of 24 in total today. A mastodon of drivers and a massive list of folks ready to bring it down here, McRae.
Yeah, since it's been I missed 2 races out. I mean, we got a couple of new people here, Harley Berletta, and I seen one more I wasn't used to calling. Thinking here. Trying to see. Might have been just that one, but I thought there was 2 of them.
There may have been 2 of them, may have been a few of them, but right now we are set to go. Action is getting underway as we get into the qualifying stages. Right now, the whole field just getting themselves a little bit of their feet underneath them, getting their feet a little wet. Some heading to the bottom lane, looks like already. Some staying towards top side for their speeds. And it's kind of a bit of a long shot here, but again, you know, we talked about it before. If you can get to that bottom lane and shorten this track down, it certainly helps without having to hit the wall protection. And it'll give you a lot more properties when it comes to giving yourself an actual qualifying time. And Janczak already pulling that off with Zach Henson. literally just narrowly getting beat out there. As you can see, not even a difference of a thousandth of a second between those two. And George Young even with almost a 200th of a second here qualifying lap between them.
I think it's going to be a lot of tight racing. I mean, you're going to see the inline draft, well, not really drafting, but just the inline, everybody staying in line and hopefully taking it easy until the longer run, and then everybody start trying to move up.
Well, move up they have indeed. Janzik got taken down by Henson for one lap. Henson just came firing right back at him and took one away from him. Lorenzo not able to match the speeds, goes 7th. Brad Thacker getting a 5th spot here, surprisingly for that 56. We'll see what happens with Kevin Kirschner here in the factory Kennedy curb records machine. As he comes right around off of turn number 4, going to try to shorten the track out as much as he can here. Qualifying lap shows him in the top 5, so it'll be the top 6, excuse me. Gets narrowed out by Jason Taylor. Throw down a good lap. Boyd Hagen now the last remaining driver up on the stage. Got a good one up on Janzik. Now he just needs one more big spew of speed. Gets a good charge on the outside. And it's not going to be, yes it is enough. He will take down Janzik by about 500ths of a second. So Boyd Hagen once again looks to be the odds-on favorite once more. As some of the
Yeah,
top...
I mean, week in and week out, I mean, when we watch these league races, you see them two up top about the whole time. So it's going to be a good battle up front between them two.
Be a good battle up front. Be an interesting little spot up around the track here. Kyle Myers now out putting up in the 18 as the 5 Kyle Holden finished up his line. Top 5 for Myers. We'll see what Holden does though.
Yeah, we got a couple of them not qualifying. Matthew Johnson being one, Robert Lawrence, Christian Wilcox, Sheldon Pearson, Eli Child. So I don't know if they're trying to hold back or waiting a little bit, but hopefully they'll get a qualifying lap down.
If I was them, I'd probably just kind of wait off and just see what comes of it. Holden driving extremely close to the outside line. See, he almost got right into the wall protection. Remember, that's an automatic no time game for any of the drivers that hit that wall protection under the iRacing rules and regulations. I've always kind of criticized it a little bit because honestly it's just completely either been kind of structurally wrong or it's just been kind of a thing that really ruins an entire race time, ruins an entire structure, but it is something that can happen around here, that is for sure. And yet,
yeah, I mean, go ahead.
I was going to say, and yet now we see Kyle Holden just kind of put up his last lap here, and he put up a 13 spot, so he'll just kind of move, trolls around the track, has put his laps up here. McGray, go ahead and see whatever you're going to say there, bud.
I was going to tell you, with the iRacing, like you said, I mean, it only takes a little smidge to get up there in the wall. I mean, somebody could barely tap you and get up in the wall, but like you said, it's hard not getting into the wall.
Hard not getting into the wall and hard not to put yourself into a bit of a bad spot. Qualifying has now come to a close, which means it's only time we bring it down to the track. We are set to go for today's action. And presented by Champion Power Equipment, here is your grading order today. Start on the golden, Boyd Hagen. The 96 will be your starting man, Greg James. Get the 40 odds outside.
Zach Henson in the number 2 and George Young in the 48 to his outside.
In row number 3, we see Kyle Myers there coming up in the 18s outside Richard Fornshell in the 90.
Row 4, you got Jason Taylor in the 15th and to his outside Kevin Couture in the 91.
Row number 5, see is Brad Thacker in the 56. His outside is the 55. That is James Harris.
Road number 6, you got Brian Lorenzo in the 77. To his outside, you got Caleb Forsyth in the 76.
Row number 7, Kyle Holden will pilot the 5 with Stephen Pless in the 69 on his outside.
Road number 8, you got Brock Whitehead in the 31 and Willie Mann Jr. to his outside in the 29.
Row number 9 will be Tyler Meeks in the 35 with Harley Barletta in the 81.
Road number 10, you got Stephen Clegg in the 22 to his outside, Christian Wilcox in the 53.
Row number 11 is Eli Childs in the 9 with Robert Lawrence in the 34.
And rounding out your field, you got Matthew Johnson in the number 4 starting 23rd and Sheldon Pearson in the number 8 starting 24th.
Your field set for a 100-lap main event here now at Kansas Speedway. Race fans, we are set to go for the action. You heard the drivers earlier. You see the stars and the cars. Put them up to grabs. Put them up on the line. A lot of heavy hitters in this one, and a lot of guys looking to try to knock everyone off the top podium poles in the biggest of spots. But will they be able to? We're about to find out. Drivers now going to give themselves a little time around the track and a little bit of time to kind of breathe with the structure, breathe with the cars. They're going to have a lot of laps they're going to have to put down. They're going to have a lot of time to really figure out if they're going to be able to go big or they're going to go broke. One way or another, though, I would say watch out for that tire not getting a little bit hot under the collar and hot under the rear here with only a couple laps in.
Yeah, the number one thing I would think of is a lot of tire saving here. I mean, you kind of want to go to the bottom a little bit, but when you use that steering wheel just a little bit too much, that's a lot of wear. So I think that's another reason guys want to stay on that top line, try to save some fuel, get some speed up there, save some tires for the longer run.
In the longer run, we shall see if they'll get to it here. Off corners of turn number 4 here. We'll bring them off down to the front straightaway. Field set to go for the action here for Champ Paraco and Fast Fun Cup Series off the gate. We're Green Flag Racing here in Kansas City.
Boyd Hagen with that good restart as we see him go down to that bottom where they said it was kind of slick. So we'll see how that works out for him.
Kind of slick, kind of a little bit draggy down there right now. Everyone trying to get up to the outside already, looking to straight shoot around from the bottom end. They have to drive a lot slower on that bottom lane. And George Young already kind of playing a little bit of hooky down there with the number 2 Zach Hinson as Hinson tries to make a move off to get to the top. Gabe Forsyth in 76 making a little bit of a fight back out here. He's got some company down below. It's his Tim PR teammate and the number 56, Gerard Thacker. As Forsyth moves down on the outside, got a great burst of speed, great burst of run here. You can see that speed is just absolutely strong as can be. But again, you know, long run wise, is that going to end up lasting him out with how hard he's trying to dodge and jump around some folks? James Harris seemingly got that qualifying time figured out, got the crack figured up as well here now. He's just looking to take full control and full advantage of this as he keeps giving it all she's got down there in his big old 55 machine with the caution flag flying out here for Christian Wilcox. Trouble down over there with the 53 and Sheldon Pearson also mixed in between. And William Mann Jr. looks like also very much wrecked out here on the back end of the turn 4. McRae, what'd you see down there?
Let's see, I was trying to go back to the replay. The 91? Let's see, Kevin Couture. See a little fan with him.
Yeah,
looks like he got loose in the turn and come back up and collected Willie Man and spun him out and got to 35.
Yeah, he definitely got William Mann Jr. unfortunately there. William unfortunately just kind of a pawn in the scheme and looked like a few other guys getting kind of clipped around there. Thankfully they do have one instant repair. And how many tires do they have today here, Mr. McRae?
Let's see, they have 2 tires to change, or 2 sets of tires.
Now, for those at home that may not know, here 2 sets of tires means you're given 2 sets, 1 on the right, and you're giving 2 on the right, 2 on the left sides. Yes, they are different in their sculpture and their set, so that could make for some interesting move and headways here throughout the race, throughout the momentum. But depending on your strategy, that either can make or break your night if you choose the wrong set, wrong parts. So being very careful about taking 2 or 4 is going to be the name of the game. When we come back, more action to be had here at Kansas City. Tonight's race, ladies and gentlemen, brought to you in part by the folks over at Champion Power Equipment. You guys need the best power generators out on the market. There's only one brand and name to rely and trust on, and that is with the Champion Power Equipment brand. Be sure to check them out on their website at www.championpowerequipment.com. Follow up the social media platforms, give them some love, follow them a like, throw them a follow, and also be sure to check out their latest deals they bring to the table. Thanks again, Champion, for sponsoring and supporting the show and the league. Well, McRae, we'll let everyone kind of get situated out for a few laps here before we go ahead and try to bring in some more drivers in. Just kind of talk about this one here because it's time to bring up our Track Tech Talk, presented in part by, of course, Champion Power Equipment. So, we are on the 1.5-mile configuration here of Kansas Speedway. This is a big oval here, or the folks like to refer to as the cookie cutter tracks. So, really, what can we expect out of this track in general, and what really is the best way to get around this place since you've seen?
The best way, I mean, we thought would be the top, but we've seen Boyd Hogan with the lead or whatever on that start. He went straight down to the bottom, and he was leaving everybody. I mean, it was kind of a short run since we had this caution. We didn't really get to see the top workout, but as far as I see right now, the bottom's where it needs to be.
Bottom's where it needs to be, which kind of allows for multi-grooves and multi-lanes. A multi-groove track, that's the way that a lot of guys love to race, and that's the way this one plays out here at Kansas. Getting ready to go back to green here. Drivers are getting settled back down. And it's definitely a bit of a war zone down here, and a lot of work to really push and shove and make a move or two off from these crowns and from these keeps. I expect a lot of drivers to get very cheeky late in this race.
Yeah, some people, as we've seen the restart going on, I know we didn't see Eli Childs qualify, but he's already moved up 8 spots since 3 or 4 laps of the race, counting the cautions. So we'll see what he can do the rest of the race. Maybe he can move up there and give him a win like he was talking about earlier.
He's standing up already here, moving up right with the Richard Fornshell in the 90 and the 5 up. Kyle Holden now, both guys in a hot debate up from top and bottom. Fornshell is working the outside line right now up on the top of the cushion. Kyle Holden coming towards the bottom with the Speed Demon Shop. Setupshop.com machine. Looking to try to hammer down and bring this one on home here, but knows the Champion Power Equipment number 9 of the Ford Mustang lies in the wake and raise in the pace right up for the charge.
Yeah, we've seen Kyle Myers in the 18. He got into second, but he went down to the bottom. But Craig Jansen said that top line where it needs to be as he went around on the outside with him as he's trying to catch Boyd Hogan now.
Catching up there with Boyd Hogan, definitely getting a little bit more on the nose or on the shots here. Everyone looking for some power, looking for some help here. As Steve Clegg here has some problems down there in the number 22. Puts it back on the track though, no caution now for him, which will allow the drivers to maintain the momentum and maintain the keep pacing here. We go on board here with Taylor as we watch right now the hard charge from the outside.
He's been a strong contender this season. I mean, he's been caught up in some bad stuff, but he's had good performance this whole season.
He has had a race win here on Pete's Race TV before. Got it back way back in the Talladega race there at Truck Series for the Green Mountain Grills Fast Fun Truck Series. But since then, hasn't been kind of winless. Been kind of looking for some more openings, looking for some chances to really strike it big with. Kyle Myers found himself in trouble earlier, but George Young finds himself in absolutely more trouble. The 48 lost off of turn number 4 into the wall protection, and all that speed and power he had earlier just completely thrown to the wall and thrown out of the ballpark. I don't know if that was I don't know if he was trying to imitate the Kansas City Royals, but he threw that one out of here.
Yeah, I was going back to Kyle Myers. I seen him when he was up there, and then we was talking, and then I seen him go back, and I recorded or watched the replay on it, and 31 gets loose, and George Young spins out.
Spins out, big wreck here, unfortunately. George and Kevin Kirscher both wrecked out. We got problems down there. And Kevin seems to have jumped out of the car here. I think he's kind of had enough, unfortunately, for one day.
Yeah, the 31 of Brock Whitehead, he went, let's see, he went low and got loose, and then he's trying to save it and come back up and collected.
Yeah, it looks
Brock
like
Whitehead.
looks like to me the 91 of Kevin Kirscher actually got loose and just slammed right into that 48 of George Young. Didn't quite see the situation there for Brock Whitehead in your case here.
I got the two drivers mixed up. I get them two mixed up all the time, Young and Whitehead.
Well, no worries there. That's why we got the PTM TV crew ready to go for you there, my friend.
Yes, sir.
So, Field, we'll have to now regroup, re-strategize, and play this one on back here. We'll take a listen down though with some of our guys. The Alagashi, number 4, Matthew Johnson, joins us in here. And Matthew, right now, I mean, I know it's early, but Hard Charger Award already going to you. You're 12 spots up. What's it feel like down there?
It's been all right. This Allagash Ford has been moving to the front. Just some speed in the draft, taking it easy, saving tires. Pitted for some extra gas there on lap 3. Worked my way back up to the top 15 again. So just using the draft, saving tires, trying to have some fun.
You can feel free to criticize me all day for saying Alagashi this whole time here, Johnson.
Nah, you're fine. You're fine.
So, with the tires and all that now starting to wear and tear in a little bit, I would have to presume it takes about 10 or 15 laps before really you start to tighten up a bit with how loose these things are, I'm presuming, if you try to full throttle it?
I'm not trying to full throttle it. I'm back here in P11, and I can just ride all day. Let those guys up front worry about burning their tires out.
You heard it loud and clear here, Johnson, trying to play a little bit more mind games with them, but play into a different strategy. We'll see how the tune works here for you, Johnson. Best of luck, bud.
Thank you.
Yeah, gosh, number 4 Ford Mustang right now, Matt Johnson, looking to try to strive and conquer throughout the entire field and throughout this pace. He's certainly setting himself up quite a bit right now, but has a long way to go. We'll now take a listen into the number 90 here, Richard Fornshell, as he now joins us here on the show here. Richard, certainly has been a bit of an interesting take here. You've had some good runs here before, and now putting on some speed early. I would presume the Fornshell camp is ready to take on some names today.
I will be perfectly honest, I am surprised I am this far up. I was prepared for this to not be a good race for me, so I don't know. We'll see how this goes on. We haven't really had a long run yet, so I have a feeling I'm gonna not do so well there.
Well, why is that exactly? Why do you feel like you can't really do so well?
Honestly, this track just has not agreed with me. I've been running it all week, and this has by far been the worst week that I've had trying to get with this. I've just not been able to find a setup where I'm comfortable with the car. Everything just feels too loose and like I'm gonna wreck, and yeah, it's been a week.
Yeah, it may have been a week, but I mean, hey, man, this 90's still looking pretty crisp and clean so far. We'll see if you can keep it that way. Best of luck, bud.
Thanks, bud. Take care.
Richard Fornshell, ladies and gentlemen, the number 90 here. Have a little listen in with us here on the call. And McRae, you hear a lot of these guys, they say point blank, this track's not really their track or this kind of style. I mean, we've talked about it before here, but I mean, everyone has their race lane, they have their race style, they have a track that suits them the best. I don't think I've really ever heard anyone actually say Kansas was one of their favorite tracks to really run at.
Well, I mean, we had this on the official series last week, and I got to run in the Xfinity and the trucks, and I mean, I actually like the track, so, which I ain't never rode the next gen cars, and this whole season, I mean, they've been having a tough time trying to figure them out and stuff like that, but I mean, Kansas is one of my favorite tracks.
I can say from the times I've started to really appreciate and get used to this track, I can say personally I actually really have grown accustomed to it and I've grown a little bit of respect for it. I will say though, I've only really had good success with the truck series here, but yeah, you know what, I mean, it all works out, personally believe it can work out pretty well here. So, but nevertheless, we're going to get the drivers squared back into square one in phase one yet again, and we're ready to get back to the action.
We've been seeing Boyd Hagen getting good restarts. Hopefully, Craig Janzik on that high side can get it going on top. I can see in the little bit longer runs he's catching them on the high side, but I would like to see him get the lead.
Janzik's going to need to get a good push here. Hagen will go to the bottom and shoot for the moon here no matter what he does. As you see our flagman wave up the flag high in the air here. He's ready to bring it down. Here comes the hammer. Here comes the driver. Green flag back on out.
Yeah, we've been seeing Craig go to the top, but actually on the restart, Boyd Hagen got a jump on him, and you see him go straight to the top, but Craig Janzik goes right back up to the top again.
Back up to the top here. Hagen went to the bottom, now swinging it down low and entering into the backstretch here. He's got a good burst of speed. You see guys that are going to the bottom lane, they're trying to make the pass quickly and cleanly. But yeah, not favoring too much to not also wanting to burn tires up here. Harris kind of squeezed in between there between him and Lorenzo. Teammates in their own right working together as Jason Taylor looks to try to also do a little bit of squeezing in between, trying to get up ahead. Coming close yet again though, Kyle Myers, surprisingly the 18. In my opinion, probably the driver I would not have expected to see struggling this bad. He's having all sorts of issues, it seems like, on the exits more than anything. That's the second time today he's already gotten loose.
Yeah, I mean, he got up there to the front, and then it got a little bit loose right there, or a little bit ago, and he fell back some, but he's trying to gain it back up. I mean, I think he's trying to drive it too hard right now and going too fast going into the turns, and I think that's what's getting him loose.
There's a certain way in a certain area where you can apex and really control the momentum and the speed there, and unfortunately you see he's just not getting it down, nor is he really making very many friends up there. I know James Harris has been cut off like 2 or 3 times now. We know how Harris is with his temper before. He doesn't exactly appreciate being kind of sent around like that. And speaking of sent around, Forsythe into the grassy plains, open up his own lawn care service in the 76. Well, got through the grass pretty cleanly here. I'll give it credit where credit's due. It's better than what we've seen from the car tomorrow. Those original Gen 6s go through on the grassy plains, but unfortunately, he definitely got sent back a ways there.
Field's kind of getting spread out right now, so we might get to see the long run come into play now and see what these drivers do.
Long run being put out here, and again, this is what I kind of feel like is going to start to really pile up is this big run you see to the outside as Matt Johnson and the Allagash number 4 moving up into the edges, moving up into the cliffs. He's got a great burst of speed here, moving in through these guys and kind of letting them all burn their tires up, as he puts it. I think this is exactly what that 4 Johnson was kind of hoping for, was a kind of race like this. This seems to suit his style.
Yeah, as we go back up front there, you got a little battle going between James at Hagen and Henson. They're going back and forth. I know Hagen had the lead, but him and Henson is having a little battle as Craig's running that top line.
Hagen trying to get back up there with Janzik right now. Henson moving in between, starting to charge up and get this one really riled in a little bit. I don't know if he's going to try to rattle his cage a little bit, but he's definitely going to rattle that wall protection up there, and that fencing certainly. You got to feel a little bit nervous seeing over 180 and 190 miles per hour beasts coming right into their living room. Yeah, funny thing is, on a plate track, we saw these guys hitting speeds upwards of 190 and 192 on a mile-and-a-half track. They're hitting up speeds of 195, 194 at top ranks, even 197, 193. Are we sure this isn't some kind of super speedway race still that they were trying to come up with for these next-gen Cup cars?
Yeah, I believe they have. I mean, with the bigger horsepower package and stuff like that, and the way the car handles, I mean, people that's running that top line too, I mean, you're letting off just a little bit just to get the car to turn and stay off the wall, but mostly it's all full throttle, so I could see the speeds coming into factor.
And full throttle will be indeed for the race lead. Janzik and Hagen back at it between one another. They're still side by side. Brent Logo, get with your comment second in a minute here, bud.
Yeah, we got Robert Lawrence got a little bit loose, and he lost a couple of spots. He's trying to get it back straight and get it on back up there.
Still the race lead battling on. Hagen not giving an inch here to Janzik. Janzik looking to try to outplay him. It's a Green Mountain Grills versus Champ Power Equipment battle once more. Hagen driving a completely different line than Janzik is. Seems as though to me, Janzik getting pretty close there off the exit of the corners of the front stretch, almost into that 96. Gives Hagen plenty of room to make a move here.
Yeah, I think Henson backed up a little bit. I mean, we're only on lap 26 out of 100, and I think he backed up just a little bit to save his tires for the longer run.
Well, they're definitely going to get a longer run, all right. Caution's out here. Problems down there for Robert Lawrence. And that number 34, once again having some problems down here, unfortunately. We'll take a listen in and a look here at the Elite Performance Motorsports industry. Number 34 here, Robert Lawrence. Trouble down there, unfortunately, for him.
Yeah, a couple of laps ago, we'd seen him get loose, and maybe he's got some tire wear, and he's just getting loose now. Let's see what he does.
Loose off of corner number 2, smash stab right into the wall protection, took a huge hit. Thankfully the car seems to be a-okay, but violent wreck nevertheless, and it looks like he's calling it a day. So we will not see Robert Lawrence come back on the track here. We'll have to kind of see what else the rest of these boys can do. 23 have now turned 22 out of the 22 drivers. Who will be able to outplay the other? Find out when we return. Today's race, ladies and gentlemen, here presented in part by our friends at Champ Power Equipment. You guys need the best power generators on the market. Only one brand and name that stands above all. That is Champ Power Equipment. Be sure to trust in the name brand there with them, and we'll see you guys out on the track. Thanks again to Champ Power Equipment for sponsoring and supporting the show and the league. So, field right now getting put back in place here. Now, I had said earlier before we had gone to caution there, McRae, that we had a little comment from our friend here, Brent Logue. He asked us, "Good evening, guys. What adjustments, if any, does iRacing allow the drivers to make? Just curious." I believe he's talking in the next gen for a fixed setup race. In this case, this is technically open setup. So the drivers can really do a lot of changes down there. They can fix the cambers and the shock distance travel. They can change the offset from the steering ratio to the actual steering offset itself. Now that is in the fixed setup, but in this case they can do a lot more with it to really set more long travel versus short travel, which in turn goes long run versus short run. They can add the tire pressures in there especially, and that's going to be a big thing that really makes or breaks a race. They have the option as well to, I believe, you can correct me on this one here, my friend, but switch out the gears and switch out the ratios on those, as well as kind of tinker and tune the shock absorbers down there as well. Now again, that is in a open setup, but a fixed setup wise, iRacing I believe would just allow you to switch the steering ratio, which is determined by about, I think it's like 235 through to 315, I believe. On that, I'm honestly not too well aware of the next gen Cup cars, but I do know that much. Offset, of course, you can change that out. And I believe that's really about it with these cars here. That's only really can change in a fixed setup. So, oh, and brake bias. Yep, Brent asking about that too. Yep, the brake bias can be switched out too on the fixed and open setup. So, and right about now, I think a lot of these guys are tuning and fixing them up as they go. And believe it or not, the brake bias actually can be switched and changed out while in the car. I've done it a few times in my street stock races, and McRae, I know you've done the same too a few times out there.
Oh yeah, I was watching Zach Henson in the number 2 and the pit stop. I don't know, he's dropping to the back.
Dropping to the back here, may had to endure a little penalty down there, we'll have to see, but he's going to be way off pace and way out of line here. He's going to have to get some charging going as we're green flag racing again.
Yeah, I believe Boyd Hagen was the only one that didn't pit. I think from Janzik back, everybody else pitted. So maybe he's trying to do a strategy since there's only 2 sets of tires and trying to save it for the end. Maybe have a couple of cautions.
Couple of cautions, couple of run-offs here in the distance here. William Mann Jr. moving through the chains, looking to put up a fight back on the boys here. He's got some great wheeling and dealing virtual speed. Coming out the ends, coming off the planes here, trying to get up there with the crew. But he is currently being manhandled down there as well between a 3-wide salute. James Harris in the middle of it all with Mr. Jason Taylor right on the bottom. Uh-oh, look out down there though, there's going to be trouble, and once again, Mann Jr. is going to be a part of it. Not again, off the turn number 3 and 4, a pile up unfortunately on the corner.
He's just having a bad day today, getting caught up in everything.
Getting caught up in everything there, and it looked like James Harris was trying to make a pass on the 18. I don't know, maybe that Harris might have had enough of Myers from earlier on there because of the little situations that were boiling in, but unfortunately, what a tough break for everybody involved there. Definitely not the way they wanted it to play out. Harris tried to save it and ended up clipping the 18 around. Mann Jr. just completely destroyed and disheveled. Then a huge pile up from the guys in the back. No one able to come to a stop, and just a violent wreck here, unfortunately, off of turn number 3 and 4. What a tough break by all involved here.
Yeah, I mean, when you're going that fast too, and somebody spins in front of you, you might not be involved with the wreck, but by the time you try to get stopped, or the car might go sideways, somebody might could rear end you. So, I mean, you're in a tight spot when you're trying to avoid a wreck, going them speeds.
Yeah, you can just see right there again, James Harris just kind of clipping in around, nowhere to go. See a lot of guys going to the bottom trying to avoid it. Zach Kinson looks like he catches the 8 of Sheldon Pearson as he was trying to get out of there, and nobody was able to slow down in time. You know, probably one of the bigger wrecks you'll see here at Kansas Speedway, but I guarantee you William Mann Jr.'s day may be just done and over with now thanks to that little situation.
Yeah, I've been talking to Willie Man earlier today. I heard they're opening back up North Wilkesboro and having some asphalt and dirt races there. So I think me and him's going to try to get up together one time soon when I go back to North Carolina and visit. So hopefully I'll get to see him and we get to go see some races at North Wilkesboro.
I'm definitely going to plan to get around to North Wilkesboro eventually. I do not believe I'll be able to get to see the revival of the track, unfortunately, due to some other priorities I will be making. So I'll be having that happen around in the August to September days, which is really when that North Wilkesboro situation is going to be coming up. I may be able to get one of the dirt races if my schedule allows it, but I'd have to only be able to get like 1 or 2 days in. Honestly, if I want to make a trip down there, the way gas prices is on fuel for airplane stuff, yeah, I better be making a good trip there.
Yeah, you better start saving now.
I can definitely save up now, but then where's the fun in all that? But nevertheless, that's beyond the point here. So fans and drivers alike right now, of course, if you haven't heard the news and everything, of course, yes, North Wilkesboro, at long last, we've talked about it many times on the show, and a track that really should have been brought back to life. I would want to say that we have seen it brought back to life, and really I think a lot of it has to be given thanks to iRacing for the fact it brought a whole different market and a whole new world of people to see truly what they've been missing and what they did not know about. You can say all you want about the future, about how the long run went, but really in my opinion iRacing was what saved it all for North Wilkesboro.
Yeah, just going out there and renewing the track and getting it scanned like that, I think that gave it the boost of it to get it back racing, because everybody loves that track.
Everybody loves that track. Everybody wanted to see the track back. It's coming back to life. It's coming back to the show. And as we now see the real world be brought to life here, Kansas Speedway still isn't done with us just yet. Here in the virtual world, we're green flag racing back out again.
I'm telling you, that Boyd Hagen, he knows how to do them restarts, because he gets incredible jump every time.
He may get a good jump every time here, but that doesn't mean long run it's going to be in of itself a good position to be put in. Still got a long way to go.
Brian Lorenzo, he's coming into the picture now. He's getting a good little battle with Janzik for the second spot. So hopefully they can get situated and Lorenzo can get up there and give it a shot for a win.
Lorenzo has been a former Final Four driver before. He's also a former champion from the Trucks division, now looking to try to make his name and take his fame over to the Cup Series. Trying to outplay and outwit and outsmart anybody that comes around this track and comes around this pace here. Working every ounce of the place and working every ounce of this momentum. One driver to watch out for, of course, also, we talked about it earlier, besides Kyle Myers and James Harris getting into it earlier, Harris is right now the reigning defending Cup Series champion. He had actually won that back at Auto Club Speedway, and really, which could be coming to the craziest days and the nights we've ever witnessed here on P3 TV. It was a long, hard haul for him, but he knew if something was going to go his way, it had to go that day, and finally it ended up breaking out that curse and breaking him into victory lane. He said, though, point blank, this season, I just need to stay focused and hopefully catch a few more breaks, and maybe I'll be able to survive with some of these guys out here. Laps continuing to march down here, McRae, and right now I'm seeing a lot of guys getting very loose off those corners. These Next Gen Cup cars are certainly no joke, and Eli Childs just learned that the hard way there.
Yeah, I was looking at, I rewinded back on my part, and Jason Taylor, you see him get a little bit loose too.
Jason Taylor getting loose, Ford still getting loose off number 4 here, and got to get passed up by quite a few guys. Harley Barletta, the 81 driver right now, trying to get around a few for the price of one, taking some serious hot shots at every one of these guys.
Eli Childs getting into the wall right there.
Got into the wall yet again, damage up on the right side and the right rear here. Unfortunately, the front and the rear definitely taking some damage to the aerodynamic properties of that car is going to be squared up a little bit more. He's going to need to be careful and be focused here, otherwise this could end up being very bad for him.
Yeah, with only one fast repair, and we've seen one wreck get a bunch of drivers, so I mean, we got to be careful. We're almost halfway through the race, so we're seeing cars get loose now, so hopefully in the long run they'll smoothen out, tighten up a little bit, and see how it goes. I think they got one more, or most of them's got one set. A couple of them still got 2 sets of tires left, so we shall see how this plays out.
You know, you want to talk about taking on one set, taking on one tire. We talked earlier about what Allagash, number 4 of Matt Johnson, was up to here. We have not seen this level of speed and control from this man in quite some time, and Johnson right now, in my opinion, is absolutely the MVP of this race. He's 20 spots up. He's really making a showcase of himself. Despite even that little hit in the wall protection, he's still taking down a few of these guys, and he's outsmarting the likes of that 96 of Boyd Hawkins. I really think, honestly, he might be the dark horse here.
Yeah, I mean, the way he's moving up, like you said, I mean, I wouldn't expect it because we talked to him, some of them earlier. I mean, if you have that little bit of damage, it's like a parachute going down the straightaways and stuff. And I mean, we see a little bit of damage on the front of his car, and it don't look like it's messing with him too much.
Doesn't look like it at all, no. Brent Log, by the way, I did not know about the rear spoiler. I would presume no, but I could be very wrong there, so take what I say with a grain of salt, my friend.
Boyd Hagen getting a little bit loose.
A little bit loose right now as Harris and Myers move up into the chase. Hagen may have not have played the right strategy here, and I think he's well aware of it now.
Yeah, I think he was one of the ones that didn't pit that one caution when everybody took tires, so we'll see how that plays out for him.
I mean, if I was him right now, I'd be kind of questioning myself, like, why didn't I go for broke when I should have, and why didn't I try to make the right moves at the right times, honestly, because it seemed to me like his starts were his best part of what he did, but that's really all we've been able to see so far, and really what he's been able to bring to the table.
Yeah, I mean, I think his car's set up for the short run, as we've seen on the restarts, like you said. I mean, he would get that good jump and hold it for a little bit, but in the longer run, that's when people was catching him. And I think he's wore out his car, and then without pitting and stuff, so it's probably going to be a tough break. I mean, we might still see a caution. We still got a little bit of time to get some tires. Might see some green flag stops. I mean, you never know. So hopefully he can get it back up there.
He's going to have a lot of time to do here because Boyd Hagen is falling back further and further in this race. The Reaper Nations 96, usually driven by Cale Gale down there, usually driven up from the boys of the BSM racing team. They're slowly falling back big time here at Jantic with a huge lead, and he's already, by the way, locked himself into the championship battles for the playoffs. But you definitely know he wants to get more than just that. He wants a couple wins under his belt. Kyle Holden, no surprise here. Honestly, I'm not surprised he moves into the top 2 here, but again, really the story to me, in my opinion, is just the fact that Matthew Johnson has all of a sudden came alive today in this Allagash number 4 Ford Mustang, but he does have company kind of coming up and patrolling at him. Kyle Myers, the 18, trying to get up ahead of the field and back into this pace, while also Brian Lorenzo does much of the same.
Yeah, Brian Lorenzo, he was up there in the top 2 too, and I think he's trying to hold back a little bit. I mean, Matthew Johnson, he's got a awesome car tonight. I mean, he's always had a good race and stuff. I mean, he's been having bad, I don't know how you really say it, just bad races here and there, getting caught up in wrecks and stuff like that. But today, I mean, Matthew Johnson, he's holding out today.
He's holding out today. He's giving her all she's got right now. Harris dealing with some company right below him there at Boyd Hagen and that 96 Toyota Camry, trying to get the Champion Power Equipment Team BSM racing team back into this fight. And really, you know, we say earlier, troubles there for Lorenzo. Actually got a little bit loose off turn number 4, gives an open turn 2, excuse me, so gives that opening to the swipe. I believe that's the Swipers 55 here. Got a runoff coming up from him. I gotta say it's the Subbies Dylan Grill 55. I knew I was gonna say it wrong, so I want to make sure I double check. It's the Subbies number 55, by the way, not the Swiper, whatever that I just said there.
Yeah, I was scratching my head and trying to squint my eyes. I was like, is that right?
I have times where I forget which one's which on the show. Got to give me credit here or there. But speaking of giving credit here or there, wait a minute, where the? I had to speak a little too soon, and I gotta apologize to Johnson. I was talking about how good he was doing on the track, and now I may have gave him the old broadcaster curse. I was just about to say something very clairvoyant here. We were watching. What you just witnessed there was Boyd Hagen literally starting to take aim and starting to take shape out on the track, despite the fact we said earlier on he was falling way too far back. He looked like he started to develop an extremely good run here. He was getting around a few of these boys, and here's another look at it. This was an extremely strong pass move on the bottom. He had set up where Johnson was burning the tires up, getting a little bit too loose, and couldn't save it. Nearly collects Hagen and Harris, but thankfully both drivers skilled enough to know where that positioning was and where to go.
Yeah, that was real close for Boyd Hagen. I mean, it could have been a lot worse, like you said.
A lot worse, like we said, and a lot worse in general for anybody out there, but thankfully everyone was able to come away clean from it and keep out of the mess. We're halfway done with this one right now, folks, but there is still some room for some drivers to take aim and fire off. Can Janzik hold on? We'll find out when we return. Today's race, ladies and gentlemen, presented in part by Champion Power Equipment. You guys need the best power generators on the market. Only one brand and name stands above all else, and that is the Champion Power Equipment brand. Be sure to check them out at their website at www.championpowerequipment.com to get yourself the latest and greatest of power generators. Thanks again, Champion Power Equipment, for sponsoring the show. So, field right now going under the 5th caution of the day. What a wild race this has been so far. I know we talked about how Kansas can be a bit crazy and get a little bit all over the place. Well, we certainly are not getting anything less of that than then some today here. It's been pretty crazy out of the gate for some of these guys.
Yeah, I mean, we're only on lap 52. I mean, we just hit halfway of the race. So, I mean, the first half's been crazy. Hopefully, the second half they'll get them right and see some more long runs. I mean, which that last one was a pretty long run, the first run we've really seen. So, hopefully that continues and we can actually see who can come out on top.
Come out on top, really make sure you make or break these races and controls. I mean, the biggest thing I'm going to say right now, though, I think that a lot of these guys are going to have to be very, very careful of is really, you're seeing a lot of guys get extremely loose and get extremely broke in and taken down a few notches because of how tricky and how laid and thin these cars can get. I honestly think a lot of these drivers, you know, are planning properly, but they're not quite executing in the same regards. I think really a lot of them are trying to go for broke now, but they're not realizing what they're doing to their equipment.
Yeah. Speaking of equipment, I think Craig Jensen is serving a penalty, having to drop to the end, maybe speeding on pit road. So, see how that plays out, see if he can work himself back up to the front.
He's going to have a lot of work to do to get up to the front. We saw earlier on some guys that really could actually use that to their advantage. I would honestly say probably one of them may be indeed the 55 of James Harris, or could even be Harley Barletta in the 81. Barletta has been a proven winner before. He's won multiple times here on our show. I mean, I'd have to give him a nod and give him credit. I think he may be the guy you may have to watch out for here.
Hey, another guy to watch out for is Eli Childs. He started 21st, and he's up there in the 4th. So, I mean, he said he was going to take it easy and see how it played out. So, it's looking good his way so far. So, we'll see how the second half brings him.
Childs, a former champion in his own right, looking to try and make or break another season and showcase talent and control. Always plays a big factor when he comes to town, but he needs to stay very, very focused here because there's a lot of guys that would love to steal it from him if he's not careful.
Now, I know we've been seeing Boyd Hagen and Craig Jensen up front. We see Kyle Holden and James Harris. Let's just see how this restart's going to hold out with them two being up front.
Well, I'll say earlier with James Harris, as long as he doesn't treat the other Kyle the way he did the Kyle a minute ago, I think he'll be all right.
Oh, yeah.
Holden's a veteran, though. He's been in this shoe before, and believe it or not, you've seen it even too here on the show. He had some great speed, some great tonicity. I honestly think that 5 could be a proven winner here if he could just simply find the right line, find a place to stick to, and really take full control of. You just need some breaks in between, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah.
Here we now come back down to the green star restart here. The flag is out. We're back underway. Field crowding around. Many drivers entering either to the outside early or they're trying to stick more towards where they want to go. 3 wide salute. Those are going to go right up in between. Fenders close. Fenders close. Clegg's got to be careful down there. That glitch graphic gremlin being a nuisance to him. Boyd Hagen not wasting any time either. He knows Janzik is somewhere in that pack trying to get to him. He's getting to go early. Johnson, much the same, but he is all over the place here. That car is just spiraling out of control at times and literally just swinging left and right. I don't even know how the heck he's able to even hold that thing online.
Matthew Johnson coming back in the picture, but I think he's trying to fight his way back up front. It's 3 wide with Craig Janzik and Caleb Forsyth. So hopefully he can come back into the picture up there and see what he can do. Caleb Forsyth's in the wall right now.
Into the wall protection off of turn number 2 here. Johnson and them battling hard, battling for position and jockey for a run. Myers able to swing right down below him here. Janzik is a man on a mission trying to get back to the front of the pack here, but again, he's nowhere near the speeds and level that Boyd Hagen is here. That 96 absolutely putting on a clinic, getting up into the pace and getting up into the front. You can just tell too just now how much the controls and the level playing field is being put to the test here. Harris falling back a little bit. Harley Barletta moving up in Lorenzo now, looking to try to cement his legacy and secure a big victory here. This will help him in his pursuit for the win and the control here.
Yeah, Boyd Hagen with them new set of tires, he's moving on back up to the front.
Moving up to the front, moving up into the chains here. He's got a pretty good chance at taking that race lead away. Remember, he was literally in the back of the outhouse. He's now moved up pretty much right into the White House section, but look at Lorenzo actually going to the bottom now, trying to block off Hagen's run. Looks like he's trying to give him some of that dirty air. We talk about how difficult Kansas Speedway can be sometimes, and there's one thing we always fear, and that is the dirty air that comes with it. And right now, it is starting to look like be a bit of a factor here, as Hagen's not able to get around Lorenzo because of it. There is one little downside though, and that is because you got this isn't a 550 horsepower race there, McRae. So Hagen, I don't think really cares. He's going to try to outrace Lorenzo with pure speed and talent here.
Oh yeah, and I think he's got the talent to do it this race.
He certainly.
But Lorenzo, he ain't giving it up. He's giving a hard fought battle for the lead, so he ain't giving it up too easy.
He certainly is, and he's giving it quite a showcase here with that 77. Looking to obligate and control the speeds and control the times around the track here, looking to keep his momentum intact and in play. Had some great speeds there and got a good charge around, but again, still not quite the level I would have expected him to be, or really expected out of that car. And Hagen able to take around Lorenzo here, so he'll move up the chains and move back into the place. He's your race leader.
Craig Jansen with that last caution
Whoa,
penalty.
hold on, back straight away. Kyle Myers, Caleb Forsyth reckoning with one another. And the fire department coffee number 76 goes for a bit of a ride and a hit there, unfortunately, from Myers. And definitely now, pace has definitely thickened and slowed up just a little bit.
Yeah, we was talking to some of the drivers, and they said that middle line would kind of have to watch out too with the top line. Somebody's with that top line, because that middle can shift you up to the top, and I think that's what we just saw right there.
Kyle Myers definitely going a little bit towards the bottom, but then shot up in the top there, and the 76 of Forsyth had absolutely nowhere to go. A lot of these guys, man, some of them are just damaged up so badly here. It's amazing to me they're even still running. Christian Wilcox definitely one of them in that 53, but and Myers has called it a day. It looks like I think he might finally be done for the night.
Yeah, a lot of drivers out tonight.
Yeah, really kind of surprised though, because again, this would not have been the kind of track or the kind of place I thought it would have been that way.
Now, if we was racing short track or a super speedway, like when you have the big one at the super speedway, I would see it there. But with this mile and a half, I guess it's tricky for them. Like they've been saying, it's going to be a tough track.
tough track, a tough playing field, and call to really have to work off from. And I tell you one thing, folks, this is definitely not for the faint of heart. We talk about how difficult it is to race anywhere. Well, this place definitely will get you.
Yeah, we're seeing here in the racetrack too in race. I know they can't see it, but Boyd Hoggins sent Brian a message and said we had some good battles here this year and it's been a good time. So hopefully, I mean, it's been some good racing, good tight racing. So hopefully we can see them finish up high up top and stuff like that this year.
Lorenzo has been trying to get a win off his back here. Hoggins already got one to his name. Matter of fact, got quite a few of them to his name, so really doesn't need to win this for the playoff picture. He's already kind of locked himself in with that. But for Lorenzo, a win here would certainly mean the difference and make a chance at a championship caliber race yet again on the show. And any chance really you can get into that championship battle, anytime you can get that one shot, that one opportunity to make or break your season, I personally think that is going to be what makes and tells you who the drivers are and who are the ones that kind of squeaked on by.
Yeah, I mean, when we started this season out at Daytona, I mean, you had some people say they don't want to wait till the last minute to win something. I mean, playoffs are coming, so these drivers that want to get locked in or at least make the points cutoff break, I mean, they're going to have to start winning or getting some good finishes too.
Certainly indeed. Well, right now though, currently pacing and controlling, we've seen Janzik and Boyd Hoggin make a run for the top, run for the spots, and right now the way Janzik's going, I think maybe he's going to have the worst end of the luck here because he has to start on the bottom lane, and that bottom lane, if I believe where he's at, yeah, I think he's going to be in the 7th spot, so being in the bottom lane start, it's going to be kind of a disadvantage because you got to try to figure out a way to move in around the positions. You got to move around the track a little bit more than you would have to be on the outside, where on the outside you can just kind of hold everybody back on the bottom and charge off quick on that outside corner. Well, we'll see how the Apex hit off this one because they're going to need all the work and all the help to get this.
Maybe there could be a gap open on the restart too where he can slide on up too.
Indeed, indeed. Well, nevertheless, though, we are fielded back into place and we are ready to hit him up. Field set to go and set for the green. Our flagmen holding the high up and high ends, and we are now set to go. Action now ready. We're underway. McRae just like that yet again. Some guys staying towards the bottom, you know, and then going to the top. I don't really know what. I honestly was kind of expecting a lot of these guys continuously jump around and jump around anywhere they can go. It seems like you told us earlier they were really running more towards the top side than the bottom, but it's the complete opposite here.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen Craig Janzik talk about he's going to stay up high. I mean, he's staying up high, but I see him getting a little bit loose too, so maybe he might switch to the bottom and see how the car reacts.
Well, if he does, he's going to need to be very careful because we've seen before what happens when you try to make a big risk and a big move in a big position like this. Sometimes it works, sometimes it don't. We've even seen it back in the real life world. As you see even Eli Childs, I was just about to say, deja vu. The 9 almost getting completely loose off the same corners as he saw what happened to Kyle Larson there back when he battled it out with Kurt Busch. And that was a near close counter there, to say the least.
Maybe we get to see a remake of what happened Sunday with Kyle and Kurt like that.
Honestly, if we did, I'd be pretty darn impressed, because that would make iRacing pretty darn realistic for that matter. Janzik, Thacker right now back at it. How many times have those two been at each other's throats here before? We've seen quite a few. These guys getting pretty close and temperamental with one another, and it looks like Thacker will get the better advantage here of those two as Harley Barletta blocks off the run a little bit. Thacker making a great move to the bottom, takes full control.
Jason Taylor moving up to the 4th spot. We was talking about earlier how good he's been doing and improving this season, and he's making his way up to the front too.
He's been trying to take everything as far as he can and really moderize himself and as much as he wants. This is exactly what the number 15 and Jason Taylor needs to see. He needs to really keep up with the momentum, keep up with the trials and the errors here. Kyle Holden back behind him by a little bit, still holding on as currently really everybody finding their own little lane, finding their own little shot here, trying to get to it. Well, Janzik now is going to head straight for the bottom lane, look for a hard charge and look for some hard pacing in the positions here, looking to take over in the playing field here. Got a great burst of speed, mounting away as he currently deals up there with Barletta one more time by Janzik. As we kind of put behind the curtain here a few times, and he's right now going to go for the straight slide job from top to the bottom lane as he drives hard in.
Almost a little bit too hard. I seen him get loose when he hit the bottom down there, so we'll see how this works out for him.
Well, it's not going to work out too well here because Richard Fornshell's moving up the chains into the ladder position here. Looks like he's got the RPMs up just a little higher, a little bit more up for grabs. He's making a great comeback here in the mix. Man, everybody right now just getting their stuff in and getting this race in between. They are pouring and putting everything on the line just exactly the way they want to, exactly the way they need to. No one giving an inch here.
No, Boyd Hagen, I mean, he's got over a 2-second lead, and we got 24 laps to go, and if it goes caution free, I could see this thing going in Boyd Hagen's favor.
See it in Boyd Hagen's favor, honestly. I'm kind of seeing maybe a little bit of a resurgence here, a little bit of a speed boost off from what you're seeing from Jason Taylor and Lorenzo here. Honestly, I think those guys might be the ones to watch out for here in this late run. Brad Thacker here in the number 50 machine, 56, excuse me. Maybe, if anything, he could be honestly playing a little bit more of a temperamental strategy on these guys and making sure he takes a very overwhelming position on the fuel run. That seems to be kind of what he's aiming towards, what he's going to go for. Question is, will it work? And will it be able to go there? James Harris.
Yeah, it looks like Jason Taylor on the front stretch could catch him, but once Boyd Hagen goes into the turns and back stretch, he looks like he's pulling off just a little bit.
Pulling off a little bit. Everyone's starting to get a little bit closer into the gaps and into the mix. And there's a lot of drivers right now looking to just hang on and really push forward, but at the same time, just there's a lot of really kind of temperamental stuff being put down here. Kyle Holden falling back way back here more than I thought, honestly. Johnson's going to get right up to him here and take from 5th, possibly 4th here if he can get around him. But can Johnson this time learn from his mistake and really capitalize on this? This is a golden opportunity to do a second chance here. And the way Hagen's running, you know, he still has to go into pit road. I got a feeling Holden them also probably will as well.
Yeah, looking back at Richard Fordsdale, he's running 9th right now, and he just posted the best lap, or the fastest lap so far in the last laps of 31.82, with Janzik only hitting a 31.9. So we could see tire wear coming from Boyd Hagen. So, I mean, Boyd Hagen might be losing grip a little bit, so he might be hoping for a caution or hopefully a green flag stop so he can hold the lead. So we should see how it plays out.
His fastest times was 31.113 today. It was the fastest time of the day, to be exact. And yeah, like you said earlier, man, he had the fastest time, but that doesn't translate to winner's circle checks all the time. Lap 80 out of the how many laps he lost on speed, he finally gained some, as Jason Taylor did not quite keep up the distance, keep up in his chains. He's slowing down slightly here and having some problems.
Yeah, you can always run a fast lap. I mean, qualifying's only 2 laps. So 2 laps versus 100 laps, that's a big difference on your runs and stuff like that, and how much you can use your tires each run and stuff like that.
And it's starting to show and take full control here, to say the least. And take a look at this too right now. Harley Barletta, George Young back at it once more. George Young, I mean, I hate to say it, but it's really having kind of the resurgence of his renaissance, if you will, for him and his crew. After everything he went through earlier on this season and went through everything through these corners and these tracks, it is good to see him finally start to really put something together and put a race together, if you will, for the long haul, for the long resurgence. But at the same time, you know, is it going to be good enough? You know, is it going to be what he's after, and is it going to be long enough for him to really take aim and fire off with, considering how far this will go?
And there's caution.
Yep, caution's out. Looks like Steve Clegg in the 22 and the Wendy's machine is going to bring our caution out here, so that will slow us back down and bring us into a very unique situation now. We were just closing laps down. Now it is completely flipped again.
Looked like he was just driving, and I guess he didn't think he was that close to Tyler Meeks, and he just went up on him and just, I mean, they caught up with each other and just went into the wall.
Tyler Meeks unfortunately gets clipped up there. Yeah, like I said, just very kind of an underwhelming wreck, honestly, compared to what we saw earlier on, but it's still a violent little hit there that Clegg had to go through. Of course, the safety equipment, these cars being put to good use and put to good relevance here on the show. We'll take one more look at here. This just gives you a good idea of what that front of that car took when it took a hit. That speeds of over 190 miles per hour. That thing just took it like a tank. Bit of a stop.
Jason Taylor's staying out. Jason Taylor's staying out. Matthew Johnson, Caleb Forsyth, Brad Thacker. I mean, we're going to see. I mean, we got 15 to go, so we should see how this new tire versus old tires works out.
I'm going to go on a wild guess and say those new tires are going to probably outsmart outwit the old tires. I mean, I don't want to try to sound, you know, out of proportions, but the problem is you're going up against a short run versus a long run, and most of the time that short run's going to get you better than the long run on only a couple laps left to go.
Yeah, I mean,
I agree.
I knew he was going to come in here eventually.
I come in here to tell you we gambled and we lost. It's not looking good for the NPR DNR front four. Things are about to get hairy.
Well, you're the one that had decided to go for it there, Thacker. I don't know what the heck you're thinking down there as usual.
Yeah, I couldn't hear. Craig was in my ear. We pit. I was hoping we'd have one surprise green run, and it did not happen. So this is about to get ugly.
Well, We're gonna find out here in a minute, but nevertheless here, we do appreciate at least coming on board and sneaking into our usual control panel as well.
Yeah, I figured I'd come in here and curse myself instead of having you curse me. See if we can break the trend. Anyway, enjoy the show, guys. I hope we put on a good one for you, and I'll see y'all later.
See you later, man. It takes out the call while he's at it. Why not?
Yeah, I thought somebody had clicked in. I thought you was going to interview somebody, and then he chimed in. I'm like, well, he brought himself in.
Oh, I would not bring him in. He's usually known to bring himself in, so I just I leave the door open just so he can come talk to us, I guess.
Kyle Holden with the late pit stop. Maybe he's changing his mind.
Changing his mind, getting settled up, back down for the track, and back down for the positions here.
Go ahead and change my camera angle to front facing of them because I want to see this show.
Whoa, if Johnson, he's not too careful, may end up actually destroying his own show in a minute. This thing is not wanting to get too close to comfort, and I wouldn't want to be anywhere near that. Got a little bit close off in the turn distance here with Jason Taylor there in the 15. Should be an interesting little get up though with how many laps they got left. We're going to put the top 5 up on your screen here and see what goes down here, what happens next. But, I mean, like I said, unless Thacker, Forsythe, Johnson, and Taylor can somehow, some way stretch out long enough and hold the top and bottom away from the likes of Hagen and Janzig, honestly, it's theirs to lose.
Yeah, it's gonna be 13 laps to go when they get to the green, so it's gonna get wild.
It's gonna get wild. It's gonna get crazy. That's the name of the game here on Pete Race TV. Green flag is out. Top 5 on your screen. Who's it gonna be coming to the line? Alonso's already looking to make some moves. He's got one going. Thacker mixed in. Forsythe on the bottom. Nowhere for them to go. Hagen now looking to take up the run, take up the positions. Gonna have to deal with traffic ahead. Johnson and Ted.
Brian Lorenzo's coming to the front. Matthew Johnson better watch out.
Johnson is pulling a bold strategy here. Maybe not the wisest move, but a very bold move here. Trying to take down Lorenzo. And it looks like there's not going to be enough time here to really take shape. But he's got some speed still there.
Yeah, talking about speed, Boyd Hagen, he's knocking on the door too, so he should be up here in the next turn or two. So
he's with him right now here. He's coming right up on Johnson's rear corner panel here. Got some great drills, great runs here. Johnson knows this will help out big time with the points race, but he wants more than that. He wants to be a champion. He wants to win a race out here. He's definitely made a great showing of himself and a great showcase of this car on the track, but it's just not quite enough to hammer down with that fresh set of tires. Oh no, not again! No, hold on, whoo! Harris and him almost colliding, and this may have been what Johnson needed as a break. Gets very lucky there. Stephen Pless is wrecked out on the back straightaway. Trouble down there for the 69.
I was gonna say with Brian Lorenzo, he was staying towards the bottom, and we've been seeing Boyd Hagen all night stick to that bottom. Do you think Brian Lorenzo is going to stay with that bottom and try to get Boyd Hagen to the top and see if he can go around him?
I think honestly he needs to go where he needs to drive the car at and where he feels he'll get the most speed from. It's not a matter of just trying to block anymore. It's a matter of trying to make sure you run where you know your speeds are at. Hagen's been at the bottom and he's got speed, but we know he can jump to the outside and take it with it too. Stephen Pless wrecking out on his own, unfortunately, costing unfortunate time there for him and his crew, so the rest of the field will have to get centered back up. Yeah, this is just chaotic, my friend, man. This is what we come to expect, though, on Pizza Race TV with these Champ Power Equipment guys. Is kind of this last-minute dash, last-minute run here, where only the best can survive and conquer.
Yeah, like you said, I mean, you wouldn't expect this from a 1.5 mile track. You would probably a short track or something like that, but it's been a wild race. I mean, that's what people come to see, is a wild race, so they're getting it tonight.
They're getting their money's worth, all right. They're getting quite the showcase here. We're nearing the end of our race today. One more time by here, McRae, and right now, the more laps we keep getting cleared out, the more laps they keep going by, the more this is just setting up Hog and Lorenzo to just completely wheel and deal this one around. Janzik kind of surprisingly put back in the pack here. Eli Childs not having the best of nights here on the short run. Could have hoped more for that long run. Johnson and Harris, man, talk about just playing the drive and playing this one from the get-go. They have been, in my opinion, the absolute MVPs for this one, especially Johnson, for what he's been able to do. But coming back from that big wreck too definitely was a very tough little spot to deal with, and now the rest of these guys got to start clearing up and start to get a little bit more clever here.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen Matthew Johnson start way back in the back, and then he moved up and all the way up to the front, and then had trouble a little bit, and then, like you said, he had that wreck and stuff, and I think he actually went a lap or two down, and I think he got his laps back, and now we're seeing him up in the 4th position. So I know he's got old tires, but I mean, he might have something up his sleeve to get some power and try to win this thing.
It's a convoluted mess of drivers, but it's a surefire way to keep the crowd going and get things more interesting. Here on PTM Racing TV, we are set to go. Who will be able to win this one out?
It's going to be 6 to go when they come to the green flag.
Yeah, think about that for a second here. It's 6 to go with the coming to the green, 6 to go with the rest of the track, and a lot of hard racing, a lot of hard battling to follow. I mean, absolutely chaos and madness about to be distributed between these drivers.
And we got to think too, which drivers have been holding back this race too and saving up their car for this last few laps of the race.
Those that have saved up for the time and saved up for this position, they now are set for the final legs of this race. We see what the fresh set of tires can do. Now we must see what the rest can bring to the table. Off the corner end, down into corner number 4. Top 5 back on your screen. 6 laps to go. Wide salute, yellow out though, yellow is out. Trouble's down there for Tyler Meeks, and the number 35, he gets sent to the Shadow Realm. And his race is all but done.
I don't think he could catch a break this race either.
A lot of guys couldn't even get off the line there, couldn't even get through the throttle there, and it looked like It looks like Meeks just pretty much kind of went right into 22 to Steve Clegg, and that was pretty much the end of his day right there, unfortunately. Well, we know Lorenzo's not going to mind having to wait a few more laps here at this point.
Yeah, I
You
mean, the way we look at it too, I think we're going to see. I don't know if it would be this time or it has to be another caution. We might see a green-white checkered.
It's going to be a green-white checkered here. There is no doubt about that now. What a unique position to be put into, and what a unique area to have to find yourself around the track and around the cars. These next-gen Cup cars have been pretty much kind of an enigma for many and us too in the booth, but for the most part they've also done one thing right, and that is bringing speed and power to an equal playing field of drivers. There has been no one that's been able to gain advantages, no one that's been able to gain certain times and positions. And now here they are, finding themselves on their strategies and their ideals and populace here. This is going to be a very big, unique area here today.
Poor blue cone. I swear I think it gets hit every caution.
I've said it before, I'll say it again. There is a reason why they still have that, they have it going on there.
I hate for being the man that has to get out there and have to set it back up each time.
Well, I think Racing has got someone who can pretty much run as quick as he can run his mouth down there, so I think he's okay.
Yeah.
Well, green-white checker attempt coming up here in just a moment. And a lot of openings and positions now being put up for grabs. This is definitely going to be an interesting little start in my opinion, because again, now with this being a bit of overtime racing here, these guys are going to be trying to push some limits and pushing themselves fast beyond their braking points. They need to be careful here, because this can go very wrong very quickly. Top 5 on your screen, they will be presented to you for the final leg of this race here as our field gets squared back into position ready for the final laps. As Stacker decides to completely send the cone into everybody's way here. Thankfully that doesn't do any damage here in the iRacing world, it just basically gives you a little more speed, I guess you could say. This is their golden chance, their one last big opportunity. They have a couple green-white checkers to work with. This is the first one up. They'll get 2 out of the bunch. Who will be able to walk away though with the win? Who will be able to come away with this one? We're about to see green flag back on out. This is the end game for them all.
Harris sticks to the back bumper of Lorenzo, trying to keep Boyd Hagen, I think, from coming down.
Well, he may have been able to keep him from coming down, but that doesn't mean he can't go up. Stays more towards the middle, though, looking to right towards the bottom. Lorenzo all in the mess here. It's going to be a mess behind him, though. Everyone's wrecked out. Kyle Holden smack dab in the middle, gets taken by Stephen Bless.
I think Brian Lorenzo still had the lead before the caution comes out. I know it was close with him and Boyd Hagen, but Boyd Hagen was about to make that move.
They're going to get one more green-white checker here after they get cleared up from this wreck here, and this is what happened in the wreck. Cale Forsyth drove up slightly, caught the 48 of his own teammate George Young, and that was all she wrote. Well, if I had to guess, I'm pretty sure Thacker is somewhere thinking, well, it went to, you know what, for us here, didn't it, boys? Hagen right now, I think, is trying to save as much fuel in the tire as he can. He's getting very close, I think, to the end of the brief of this one. Lorenzo knows he just needs to finish out and put laps out on the track. Fortune all of a sudden now put in the middle of this pack and put back into this fight. He's got a chance here to maybe make some noise. They'll go one more time around here, McRae, and really at this point, I don't even know who to choose. Who do you got?
I think we can all I mean, I'm hoping Brian can pull out a win this season, but I think Boyd Hagen's going to try to come around him. I mean, you still got James Harris and Richard Fornshell. I mean, Craig Janset's coming back into the picture now, so I mean, it's hard to pick of who's going to try to win this thing with the green-white checkered. But like you say, anything can happen.
I think Lorenzo may be my pick here in this case, but I think also he finds himself in maybe the most inopportune spots here, and maybe a position that I don't think really is going to suit his needs or suit his kind of style here. He's going to need to be very, very careful with how he starts and fires up this run, considering what he's got in store, what he'll have to deal with here in this position.
Yeah, he's got to be tight of what he brought. I mean, it's just, I mean, it's hard. I mean, being up front too, and you got, I mean, your thoughts going in your head. What's the driver behind you going to do? How am I going to be faster than him? I mean, it's a lot going on. So I know a lot's going through his mind right now.
A lot going through his mind, but at the same time also wondering about the guys that are in the very, very back of the outhouse. We just saw them a minute ago, taking 3 wide, and then get wrecked out and put into a bad spot. That can happen again, and if it does, we will call it right there. So if you're Hagen, not only do you need a good start, you need to make sure you get them ahead in the first couple turns probably.
Yeah, because I mean, if he don't get him in the first couple of turns or turn 1 and 2 with the white flag, I mean, I think that's going to be it. I think Lorenzo can hold him off.
Can hold him off, put this one into victory lane, but will he be able to? That remains to be unknown. We are now set for the final conclusion. This is their final green-white checkered attempt. Lorenzo needs to kick the jump start. He needs Harris to help out a little bit. The rest of this field behind him looking to take full control. Top 5 back on the screen, back on the roster for the clock ticker. We're going to see this one fade out and play out. Here we go. Green flag back on out. Who wants it more? Hagen with a strong start. Strong positioning. Everybody behind him. Staying relatively clean. No wrecks. No nothing. Lorenzo's going to have to outsmart Hagen. Hagen goes to the bottom, though. That's where he's been playing it all day long. Lorenzo, he's going to try the crossover.
Fornshell and Craig Janzit's in the wall.
White flag is out. Lorenzo still has a tire up on that nose. He's got a chance. Hagen's not going to give him anything, though. He had a good run on the front straightaway. Now he needs to line the draft up and line the position up for one more big push. Will he go to the top or will he stay to the bottom? He's going to stay to the bottom with Hagen here. Hagen needs one more big run in the end here. I don't think he's going to get it. Coming off of turn number 4. Straight to the finish. And Boyd Hagen will take another one home for his win here in the Champion Power Equipment Cup Series. Just like that, multi-group, multi-lanes, multi-action, and Hagen finds himself in a very good spot.
I think Boyd Hagen's going to be the man to beat this year.
You would certainly think so, but we said the same thing about Craig Janzik last season when he seemingly had everything dominated to the end. All that matters is that one race. Hagen knows that can easily happen to him there and then, but right now he's got to take all his confidence and keep pushing himself beyond the limits and beyond the reputation. The 96 puts up another big number and a big win for him and his Team BSM racing team. Time to take a look at the results now, presented in part by Champ Power Equipment. It's Hagen with the win. Lorenzo will have to settle for second. Third to Harris. Fourth to Janzik. Fifth to Childs. Not bad for Childs. I thought honestly it would be a little further back, but he hangs up, holds up pretty good. Kyle Holden goes sixth. No surprise there. Johnson, though, all day long, performing at a high level, but just fell victim to some cautions and some late strategies there. Barletta goes great with an 8th position. Taylor as well putting up a good number there in the 9th, 10th to Caleb Forsythe as well.
Yeah, you got Brad Thacker in 11th, George Young in the 12th position, Richard Forshell, I seen get to the wall the last lap, but finishes 13th. Stephen Clegg, 14th. Stephen Pless, 15th. Zach Ensign, a good day for him, but a tough break at the end, 16th. Tyler Meeks, 17th. Christian Wilcox, 17th. Kyle Myers, 18th. Kyle Myers, 19th. Willie Mann Jr., 20th, Sheldon Pearson 21st, Brock Whitehead 22nd, Robert Lawrence 23rd, and Kevin Couture 24th.
That rounds out your finishers. Now time to talk with the top 3. And James Harris joins us in now here from Kansas. And James, you know, there's certainly a lot on the playing field. There's a lot at stake here, and you definitely had to make some big moves and some big runs, and this one played out pretty well, I'll say.
Yeah, it actually worked in our favor. You know, once you got about halfway through that race, I started figuring out something else with the throttle and brake in the corner, so we were able to start running better. You know, and near the end, I think I could have had a shot with him if a kind of stupid blue car hadn't wrecked me or wrecked my right front with about 8 to go. But we'll take a third place finish.
Take a third place finish here. I know definitely had a lot on the plate and a lot on the mind here, but for you and your crew, I mean, how tricky and how difficult did it get coming to the late stages of this race here with how those tires usually acted here at Kansas?
Yeah, that's the thing, man. With this next gen and tracks like this, especially mile and a half, they seem to be really touchy. And I don't know if you caught it on TV or not, but I think it was about lap 60, 65 after we took that second set of tires. I almost lost it in turn 1 and 2, and it heated up my tires. I was very, very loose for about 4 laps, and even Boyd got loose a few times tonight. So they're real touchy cars, man, but they're a lot of fun to drive.
Fun to drive and fun to watch here, we'll say here on our end, but nevertheless here, Harris, you come away third for the bunch, so who do you want to thank here for all that?
Yeah, let me thank Kevin Kirscher, Blackstone Management, Champion Power Equipment for sponsoring our series. Huge thank you to Subbies, the local deli that I go to quite often. Keith and his family are really nice people, and they try to take care of us. I'm going to have them on the car as much as I can this season, and we'll see if we can get a win for them.
For sure there. Well, Subby's definitely going to be proud of another podium here for you and your crew here. James, congratulations on that. We'll see you next time out, bud.
Thanks, man.
James Harris, ladies and gentlemen, comes away here with another solid performance for 3 Wide Motorsports. Another guy that came away with a solid performance 3 Wide, it's Brian Lorenzo. Finished second here, and Lorenzo, you told us earlier, you felt like this was set and ready to go, and this car was ready to bring out some speed, bring out some power. Boy, howdy, did it do that and then some, sir.
Yeah, man, this 77 was extremely fast today. We went on an amazing strategy, put ourselves in a position to win there. Sadly got second, but definitely had a great time.
Had a great time performing and doing all this, and I know, although this was not quite the finish you were looking for and quite the way you were wanting it to play out, I'd have to believe, though, that if it weren't for some of these cautions, you may have had a bit of a longer run chance here, wouldn't you?
I wouldn't even say that. I didn't have the pace that Boyd had all race. If I did, which I should have, I got to work on my pace overall. Yeah, I could have won that race if I just had the pace at the end there.
For sure there. Well, nevertheless, Lorenzo, as you come away second today, is there anybody you want to thank for this?
I got to thank the 3 Wide Motorsport boys. They were backing me up all race, giving me confidence. Got to thank the family at home watching me today, and got to thank everything here. I had a really great time tonight.
For sure there. We had a great time having you on board. Thanks for your time here, Lorenzo.
See ya.
77, ladies and gentlemen, Brian Lorenzo coming away here with a second place finish as this man in the number 70 or the 96, excuse me, Toyota Camry Camp, Boyd Hagen brings home one for this crew here today. And Boyd, what a long fight it was from the get-go. You had to go from the back, had to travel to the top. Then this last couple laps, it's between you and Lorenzo, and we did see a little comment you made to him earlier. You said point blank, you and him make some great racing and some great battles. You sure did indeed.
Yeah, man, it's always fun racing Brian. I gotta throw Craig in there too. Honestly, there's been and Kyle. There's been a few guys here that the last few weeks that have kind of, I don't know. They've been a lot of fun to race around. I like these guys.
For sure there. Now, with the way things played out and the way things have gone for you and your crew here, I mean, how tricky in comparison is it for you to really kind of keep up with this pace and keep up from having to be in the very back to then having to move up to the front for your race?
I mean, I don't really have to adjust pace much. I mean, you kind of whenever you got. I mean, usually we're one of the better cars here. Obviously, I feel like so. Whenever you kind of have that, you got to understand that there's a little bit of a setup gap, and some guys are going to be able to carry a little more speed than others, and so you kind of have to approach it a little differently in traffic. But I mean, for the most part, everybody's decently close, and it's not usually too big of a problem. But yeah, once you get to the front and you can kind of open it up a little bit more and search around, and that's where it's been kind of fun with Brian and Craig, is because I mean, we've just been racing the hell out of each other all year. It's been a blast.
You two definitely have, and many others have come before with you as well. So, Hagen, you come away with the win in Kansas. Anybody want to thank for that?
Yeah, man. I got to thank Kevin Kurchar for coming out every other Tuesday with us and racing, and all his support. Blackstone Management, Champion, Green Mountain, Grills, everybody that's involved there. And you know, you guys for putting on the show, Eli Childs for putting on the league. You know, there's been a lot going into it, and there's some more stuff going on behind the scenes. But you know, it's been a lot of fun. I've enjoyed myself. So thank you guys for doing everything you do.
We've enjoyed having you on board here, Boyd. Congratulations on yet another win, sir.
Thank you, man. Oh, I also want to say thank you to Jared Crawford. That is one of the best cars I've felt on the next gen, and that man did all that. That dude is a badass. I love him for it. Thank you, Jared.
Seems like he definitely got you a winning car today here. Congratulations, Boyd.
Yes, sir. All right. Thank you, man.
The nice six, ladies and gentlemen, Boyd Hagen pops away with another win and another victory. And McRae, as we sign off with this one today, man, what a long race. But at the same time, what an incredible battle between everybody that came out. They certainly put on a show, and some guys, honestly, maybe a little bit too keen not to let us on their little secrets and that they can run the bottom lane. But if they said they were struggling to run the bottom, well, they made a monkey out of me because I really didn't even notice.
Yeah, I mean, I figured the race would be top line the whole time, but like you said, it fooled us. And same people go down to the bottom. I mean, Boyd Hagen was fast at the bottom, and you had a couple more fast at the bottom. But all in all, it's been a good race. A lot of action, went 106 laps. I mean, it got kind of wild, seeing the cars loose and stuff like that on the longer runs and stuff like that. So hopefully next week when they go to Texas, I think it is, we might see a little bit more action with it.
We'll have to see here. There's just a couple weeks away, but there's plenty of time to be able to see what happens from there. And I believe our next one will be actually WWT Raceway. So it'll be a bit interesting to see how it plays out. But race fans, that's going to kind of all but do it. My final thoughts is this. There's plenty of ways to get around a track, and we see every which way to Sunday be put here on the Tuesday night action. But a big thank you again to Champion Power Equipment as well for supporting our show and through our track. I've been the Crusader here, joining you guys today. Cody McRae, thanks for your time here, bud, and we'll see you guys next time out.